Evening, everybody. Thank you for making the effort to come out and listen. My name's Rick Wilson. I work in a business called Beadman Solutions, and we're ERP consultants. That means Brightpearl is an ERP tool. ERP means Enterprise Resource Planning, which is business management. And what I want to talk to you about today is how to make maximum profit through maximum control. Really what it comes down to is successful companies aren't lucky. It's a science, it's well thought out, well trodden path, and most people stumble along it and eventually at the end of it think, well, that's how you do it. Well, this is how you do it. So let's see how we go. I was asked by our marketing director to put something on about me, so very briefly, I did a science degree, a chemistry degree, 500 years ago it seems. And that says 91. It was 1991, not 1891. And I worked in the pharmaceutical industry for a long time, 7 or 8 years. And I worked in research, sales, IT projects towards the end. And then during that time, I did another degree. And I spent 2 years out traveling around the world, getting a different perspective on things. Hence this, I suppose. And came back, worked a little more in the pharmaceutical industry. Again, sales and marketing, which has been a lot of my background. The thing that I learned from this is process. And big industry teach you how to do things properly, because they have to. So I decided to have a go on my own and I got as far as I could in the drug industry and was a management consultant. And during that time, in 2005, I came across ERP. It was just starting, and I set up a small. My clients were sub 2 million clients. Really trying to help those when I was doing the management consultancy, trying to help those grow. Everybody was hitting a wall, and the more and more you see it, they've all got the same problem. For a different story for a different time. ERP consultancy is what I'm still doing. It's very good. Very interesting. At least I think so anyway. And that's what I want to talk to you about. I thought I'd pose the question, are you a businessman? So who in the audience owns a business? Oh, you do. So we've got some people who run businesses, so thank you. Successful business people know certain things about their business. They know what profit they made. They know when they made it, but most importantly, you could argue, is they know how they made it. Because the whole point of this is you want to do more of what works and less of what doesn't. The only thing you're running out of is time, so that's what you've got to do in the time you've got. More of what works and less of what doesn't. For your business, with the things you've got right now, that's what you've got to do to be successful. And successful businesses know, because they have to. They've got lots of people to pay every month, so they have to. But most businesses guess. They don't know at the beginning and they realise at the end what the story was. That's really gambling. When you're putting your money into something where you're unsure about the results, it's gambling. And there's no need. Or not to the extent that most people do anyway. So successful businessman or gambler, I'll allow you to answer the question to yourselves, which you think you are. I didn't want to assume that people understood what profit was before we started. So I thought I'd define it. Hopefully everybody knows what it is. You take your revenue, which is what happens when you sell things, the money in your till, or for a service business, the invoices that you generate, and you take away the costs, and you're left with the profit. And ideally, the costs shrink, the revenue increases, and the profit grows. The question is not what profit is, but how do you actually get it to grow? So it's important to understand there's only really two things that you can influence. There's only two things that you can influence in your business. The first is revenue, and the idea is that you maximize your revenue. And the second is the costs, and the idea is you optimize the costs, not minimize them. There's a significant difference. I'm struggling with this thing. If we take a look at the costs in a bit more detail, there are two types. There's the cost of sale, which is the price you paid for the stock that you've sold, and then your expenses, which are the running costs of your business. And I've illustrated those in different colours in the diagram. The main thing is you manage them in different ways. The important thing about optimising the cost of sale is that it's a moving feast. It's not something you do every day. You don't contact your suppliers and say, how much can I have it for today? You contact them, you arrange in an orderly fashion that it's going to be this much for this period, and then you renegotiate. Typically, that's how you do it. And they are in business too, and you're their customers. They need that as much as you do. And if you don't do that and you try and squeeze them too hard, you lose the quality, which is a concern for you and for them. So it's important to optimise the cost of sale, not try and minimise it. And again, with the expenses, it's not something you do every day. So of the time you have to influence one of the two things in your business, which is the cost, there's only cost and revenue in business. It's a one-time job. Do it once a year, once a quarter at most if you're really diligent. But you don't need to do your costs all the time. So if there's only two things that you can do and you're trying to maximise your profit, all your effort needs to go somewhere else, because you can do that in the first week. What are you going to do for the rest of the year? Well, you need to maximise the revenue, and there are three key factors you need to do to maximise the revenue. Revenue needs to be sustainable, so you know it's going to keep coming. It needs to be predictable, and it also needs to be understandable by you. You need to know how you did it. Otherwise, how are you going to do more of it? You also need to know what you did that didn't work, so you can do less of that. You've got more time to do more of what did work. Maximising revenue is the whole point behind maximising your profit. You maximise your revenue, you optimise your cost, and that's how you do it. So the question isn't really how do you maximise your profit, it's how do you maximise your revenue? Well, let's have a look. It's no, if I stand over, sure. It's no surprise that sales come from sales orders for most people. So, how do you generate more sales orders? Well, you need to do more quotes. And in a retail business, that might be people making price inquiries in your shop. For a service business, that could be literally formal quotes that you issue via email or PDF. Quotes are made to prospects, people who are interested in what you have to do. Prospects come from leads. Leads are people who have responded in some way to some activity that you do that says, this is what we do. It's called marketing. And there's lots and lots of different things you can do. Ad campaigns, pay-per-click campaigns, and networking. People say, yes, I'm interested in that. Then they say, actually, now I know more about that, I'm really quite interested. How much is it? And they say yes or no. They say no, they become lost. And if they say yes, you've got an order. And what you need to know is which marketing generates the most profitable sales and the best quality or calibre of customers by whatever criteria is right for your business. So if you want more sales orders, you've got to do more quotes in a B2B environment. In a shop, you've got to get more people through the door asking, how much is this, please? You're going to do more quotes, you've got to get more prospects, more people in the shop. To do that, you need to generate more leads. And to do that, it just requires effective marketing. So here's the catch. What's effective marketing? It's marketing that works. Works is defined as generates a minimum, an absolute minimum of a gross profit. If you buy an item for £5 from a supplier and sell it for 20, and the marketing campaign costs you 16, you're going bust. You need to make a gross profit at least on your marketing, otherwise it's a recipe for disaster. And ideally, if you're going to be sustainable and repeatable, predictable, you should make a net profit. So £5 for a marketing campaign, £5 for the product, £8 to run your business, leaves £2 net profit. The question isn't what do you do, the question is how do you know? How do you know which marketing campaigns are effective? And I'm afraid there's no magic wand. You test and measure the impact of your marketing campaigns across your entire business. You measure the marketing in terms of the cost of the marketing, as we just said, and the number of leads it generates. You measure your sales, the number of customers it generates, the number of prospects you get. You measure your stock, the number of turnover, so you can find out what's selling and why. You look at your accounting, and you look at your customer service. There's no good getting a great marketing campaign that gets the phones ringing off the hook where you sell loads of things to people who bring it back. So it's important to not leave anything in your business that you don't look at. That's a lot to do when you've got a full-time job answering the phone, or your team you've got 50 people. Or my industry had hundreds of thousands of people from the pharmaceutical industry, manufacturing new drugs and shipping them all around the world and selling them and all sorts. So it's, whether you're a one-man band or a big company, the problem is the same. There's a lot to do. So how do you measure everything? Well, you need a system, and you've all got a system in your hands, most of you. It's a pen and paper. The trouble, and the only trouble with a pen and paper, because this is how everybody used to do it 30 years ago, is it's not very quick. You can't do a lot, it's not very fast, and also, the main problem with pen and paper is it's difficult to ask it a question. So at the end of it, you've got your stack of papers that record everything you did, and you say, what's the marketing campaign that generates the best return on investment, please? It can't answer. Whereas you can report on a system and it will answer, if the system's got the information in it in the first place. So the system's you've got to be able to ask it a question, and you've got to be able to get the information in the box in the first place. Systems, whether they're paper-based or software-based, manage internal processes. Marketing, sales, finance. And as I said already, they need to be, your processes are the key to success. You need to be able to report on them as well. What I thought was worth a quick look at is the difference between a new business, which has processes, but no systems, no tools, no reporting. And if you started a business from scratch, they all start that way. When you're young, you've got some systems, you've learned how to do it. When you're established, you've got tools. So you've probably got Sage, you've got a CRM system, and when you mature, you've got capable reporting tools. Excuse me. Reporting tools is when you've got all the information you need in a format where you can ask it a question. It could be in multiple boxes. All that does, by multiple boxes, let me explain. If you have an accounts package, a stock package, a CRM package, and a marketing package, and you want to know the answers to finance questions from your marketing package, it's not going to happen. You have to link them all up. And if you want to know answers to if you go to your accounting system and say, how much did we make? It'll tell you. But if you say, how did we make that? The answer's in your marketing box. So you've got to join it up. It's the only way you can do it. And that joined up process is what ERP is, as I said at the beginning. This whole thing, CA101, I really would encourage you to go on the website and read it. It's fantastic. It shouldn't be free, and it is, so I would go and sign up while it still is. Other vendors would charge for that material. It's very, very high quality, and it's great. Go and read it. Let's try and illustrate the point with a simple example. Okay, let's take a simple business. My business is relatively simple. We don't really sell products, we sell time. So we've got guys who go and build Brightpearl and other systems for our client base. And so we go and do some marketing. We tell people we can make this system run your business. We send a guy in or a team of guys, and they go and do it. So we're selling their time to our clients, and we manage our own business. So really, the one thing we sell is time. We do it on a project basis. That's about it. And so we have two things. We have a sales and marketing system, and we have a finance system. That's kind of all we need. And the finance system tells us what we made and when we made it. And the CRM system tells us how we made it. But to get any sense out of it and to maximize our profit in a sustainable, predictable, understandable way, which is the whole point of what I'm trying to convey, you need effective, proven marketing. And you need to do that, you need to measure everything so you can work out whether it works or whether it doesn't. So you can do more of what works and less of what doesn't. The only way you can find them out is to join them up. Join the systems together, which is what ERP does. So if you want to maximize profit, you have to optimize your costs and manage it all in a joined system. It's also important, people, you'll hear later on how people get married to their accounting system. I could never live without it. Well, you can. You're just used to it. And there are other better ways of doing it that give you more answers to the actual problems you've got. Brightpearl is a very, very strong example. The other thing is, when you put all your information in one box, the seemingly impossible becomes easy. Because it's all there. You've just got to ask it the question. And having a single version of the truth is just, when you've done it the hard way, having a single version of the truth is the best thing ever. As I said, reporting across the entire business is easy when you have everything in one place. It's actually really hard when you don't. Trying to join software systems together is one of the most sophisticated things you can do and never works. It's a bad idea. Whether that's when money's no object. In the pharmaceutical industry, we couldn't do it either. And to sort of illustrate the point and tie it all up, take a customer. They start out life as a stranger to your business and to you. And then they become a lead and become a prospect as you work them through what we call the customer lifecycle management, the customer lifecycle. Then you qualify them and eventually you meet them and quote them. And they say, that sounds great. I like you, I like the product, I need it, and it's the right price, so I'll take one. So you place an order. And at that point, you've got to supply the stuff, make sure they get it on time. There's lots of paperwork generated at that point. Then, when the service delivery is complete, you invoice them and they pay you, or that's happened over a cash transaction in a store. And the clincher is, these days with social media, if they're happy, they'll tell their friends, or they'll probably tell nobody in truth. But if they're unhappy, they'll tell the world instantly. So there's a lot of pressure to get this right. And the reason it fails most of the time is people being too busy and having terrible admin processes. These systems make that go away because they just do it for you, literally. And if you get happy customers, they repurchase. Then you go and do some more marketing and start the customer life cycle again with new people. And you short circuit with these guys hopefully just need a quote this time and they don't need to meet you again. So, what do we do as for our part in this? I mentioned before that we build ERP. That's it. We come into your business and say, okay, let's take a look at your workflow processes, look at your accounts, your sales, your marketing, your procurement, your customer services, and we say, yes, this package will work, it will fit, and it will do this, that, and the other. Would you like one? Then we build it, we train you, and we support you through it, and that's called ERP consultancy. Once it's in, if you'd like more help, we help you get more. We show you how it works, or show you how we don't leave you to it at day one. So when you can use it, then the real work begins. And by consulting with our clients, it helps you do more of what works and less of what doesn't. That is the way you maximize your profit. So I started this with a question of, do you own a business? Well, do you know what profit you made, when you made it, and how you made it. If you do, I would say you're a businessman. If you don't, I would say you're gambling with your own money, which is absolutely fine. It's your money. But consider that and decide for yourselves. Thanks for listening, and I'm happy to take any questions if anybody's got any.